how often do you get bored and you just pull out your phone and we just start scrolling? Why does it feel like the more advanced we get in technology, the actually shouldn't we be offloading some stuff? In today's episode, we are going to help you learn how to offload things so you can get the life, the peace, the enjoyment you've been looking for in a hectic, chaotic world. If this resonates with you, I want you to hit that subscribe button and let's jump into it. Welcome to the Married Life. All right, so as we dive into work-life balance, family balance, spouse balance, what this looks like, oftentimes what happens is that we feel so overwhelmed. It almost is like we're drowning, right? We're just trying to keep our head above water. Can you share with everyone a time that you have felt like that?
Just one time?
I mean, we have as long as we want, I guess. It's our podcast.
Yeah. So like literally recently, right? We scheduled out time because there were just some things that we needed to plan together, do together, goals together. Like we both had to be there. It was like a scheduled time. And so we kind of got into it about something, and it really triggered something within me that I just felt like what you're saying, like so overwhelmed with everything, like work schedules, kids schedules. It doesn't help that they're on Christmas break right now. Personal life. I've talked a million times recently about like my health concerns, my health issues that I'm like struggling with, that, you know, if you are that person struggling with health issues, no matter what it is, it's constantly on your mind. Mm-hmm. It affects every area of your life. And so I came to you and I was just like, I am just so overwhelmed by all of these things in my life that I don't know. Like you're saying, like I felt like I was drowning. I didn't know which way was up. I didn't know what to do. Yeah.
And a lot of times, I feel like as we were going through that conversation, what we found is, even to this point, is that like we only have so much energy per person. Mm-hmm. You only have so much bandwidth, so much to give out. And so even in the conversation, I asked you, like, almost what do you think are the expectations I'm putting on you? And you even said that, like, I don't know what is expected of me for church, for the married life, for, you know, like, because there's so much for family, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're actually able to say, like, okay, what are the expectations and where's my energy actually going and where should it go? Mm-hmm. We're able to actually find not balance, because balance doesn't exist, but a rhythm.
Yeah. And
that's the focus of finding rhythm in marriage, finding rhythm with work, finding rhythm with friends, finding rhythm with our kids, all the different things. Mm-hmm. Because if not, you do just feel this weight over and over. You know, it reminds me of the Encanto movie, you know, the girl who sings, mm-hmm. you know, one of the sisters singing, you know, like, I can't even think of the song, but anyway, she's like always taking on more and more and more and more.
Oh, Louisa, she's the strong one.
Yes. And it is, especially for moms. Moms will have this mindset, and we're going to talk about mom guilt, but this mentality of you have to keep taking on more and more and more, right? Like you have to hold everything up, but then you're trying to hold everybody up and you're actually drowning. Yeah. And so it's like, we as husbands, we don't want our wives to feel that way. Again, whether it's a mom, whether it's a wife, however, you know, that relationship looks for you as you're, you know, viewing, but being there and understanding, okay, how much energy do you have and where's it going and where should it go? And same thing for me. How much energy do I have and where does it need to go? I'm reading a new book right now. It's called Traction. And he talks about that oftentimes as he's training business leaders, that they are dispersing their energy in 100 different places. And he said what he's put together is a system that literally it's 6 spots that your energy should be going. Mm-hmm. And if it's going out of those, you're wasting energy. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of just like this, like as you're watching The Married Life, as you're watching, you know, on YouTube or listening to a podcast, you're watching this because you want to invest in yourself. You're like, I want to, because you value yourself. It's a good investment. So it's like, with my energy, I only have so much. Where is it going? In Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says this. It says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And so we need to know that there's a rhythm that we need to embrace that changes from season to season.
Yeah.
Because even right now with littles at home,
it's totally different.
very different than what it'll look like when they're
I'm
20.
even seeing like the difference between, because so I have like a 10-year-old that's in my house, and then I have a 3-year-old who's almost 4 in my house, and even like their needs from me are very different. And so realizing, okay, when you have your firstborn, it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is going to be for what feels like forever. And you realize, okay, it's really not going to be forever. And so my time in that season of like littles is going to be totally different, even like year after year. Like give it 6 months to a year and your life is going to look totally different.
Yep.
And so that's why we're talking about rhythms.
Yes.
Knowing that the season that you're in, the assignment that you have currently is not going to be a forever thing, because it is just a rhythm of life, right? Harvest time is crazy. Like literal physical harvest time on a farm is wild. Whereas like winter season, when the ground needs to be a little bit more dormant, yes, there's stuff to take care of, but it's not going to be as wild and crazy as
100%.
harvest.
And so that's why even like when we're looking at life work balance, or as we're going to call it rhythm, the number one thing we have to do first is audit our time. We have to audit our time, because we will also or often feel burned out and burning the candle at both ends and all this stuff, because we're not actually paying attention to our time and where time is actually going. And so even for us, it's like there's a book that I read called Learned Excellence. And he talks about in the book about scheduling everything. Literally, not just your work schedule, because a lot of us do that. We're like, when we're at work, we know, okay, I'm going to do this from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, I have this meeting, 11 to 12, all the stuff. But doing that at home, before work and after work, because if you don't, this is what you'll notice, you will end up, and he uses this illustration. He says, when you are not scheduling your time and actually being diligent with your time, it's like you're just taking your wallet and you're just pulling out cash and just throwing it away. He's like, that's what we're doing with our time. We're just throwing it away. Because think about this. How often do you get bored and you just pull out your phone and we just start scrolling and you just start doom scrolling?
Yeah.
You're just going and going and going and going, right? And you never get that fix. And all of a sudden 30 minutes has gone by, an hour has gone by. And so this is what, okay, there's a practical tip for you, okay? Do a time audit. And it's as easy as this. You can actually take a piece of paper, you can take an app, you can take a notebook, and you write down, if you get off work at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., whenever you're off work, write down that 5 to 9, 5 to 10, whenever you go to sleep. And every hour, every 30 minutes for the next 2 days, write down, what do you do with that additional time? Where do you spend it? Yeah. Do you actually spend it on social? Do you spend it on just watching TV? Do you spend it on binge watching Netflix? Do you spend it on cooking? Maybe whatever it is. It could be a good thing, but you just write down what you're doing. And then you'll actually see, okay, I might feel burnt out. I might feel like I don't have energy. I might feel like, like that my life is out of balance, but it's just because we're not actually budgeting our time correctly.
Well, you challenged me with this the other day. You told me my greatest strength is my greatest weakness. And it was going back to finding the rhythm in my life. Is I'm a very personable person. Like I want to just hang out and build relationship and talk. And I am very present in the moment. And I know that drives you nuts sometimes, because I will throw away time structure for relationship every time. And that's a good thing, right? Because sometimes you can be the opposite, where it's like, it needs to be a personal touch point, but you're like, I'm 5 minutes behind. I always joke where like, I'm going to be late, but my kids are going to be fed. They're going to be clothed. They're going to be happy. They're going to be all these things where you're showing up. My kids are naked. They're starving, but you are 20 minutes early. Right. And so it's like that balance of stuff, or finding that in you. And you told me the other day that like my greatest strength is relationship. But at the same time, like, a 30-minute meeting goes into an hour and a half meeting because I'm building relationship. And so it's like, but then I get stressed out because I don't have time for all the other things, but it was really my own fault.
And and that's it. It's a time audit, right?
It's a time audit
of looking, okay, I'm supposed to have 30 minutes for this. It's turned into an hour and a half. I just lost an hour of time.
Yeah.
And that's why we feel stressed. That's why we feel that we don't have a rhythm. That's why we don't feel like there's balance in our life.
Yeah.
And so we have to be honest with ourselves. It's jumping on the scale. If you have New Year's resolutions and goals to lose weight, but you don't jump on the scale to look at where am I and where do I want to go, you don't know. Because, I mean, what if you lose the 10 pounds, but you never jumped on the scale? So you actually don't know if you lost that weight, right? Yeah. And so it's the same thing looking at your time.
Well, you're saying that, and I think I don't want to get on the scale. But I think it's important to say that, because I don't want to get on the scale in fear of like feeling defeated. And I think sometimes we don't want to audit our time because we don't actually want to put in the time to get better, to feel more in rhythm. Yeah. Because guess what? It takes work.
Yep.
Right? I get on that scale and now I know how much work I have to put in, versus just being able to say, well, I didn't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. Yeah. It makes you accountable.
Yeah.
And so, like, literally as you were saying that, I was like, I don't want to get on the scale. I don't want to get on the scale. And so you might be here today where it's like, you don't want to get on the scale. You don't want to see where all your time is being. You don't want to see where all you're spending all your money wrong, because you like it. You like to scroll. You like to spend your money. You like to do those things.
I do.
You do.
Guilty.
You had to take off the Amazon app on your phone, but I am pretty sure it's back on.
Instagram's not, though.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just spending money, not wasting time.
So I want to encourage you today, like, get on the scale.
Yes.
Get on the scale, because this is what Psalms 90:12 says. It says, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom.
Yes.
Your days are numbered whether you like it or not.
Yes.
So God, teach us to number our days so that we can have wisdom.
Yes.
Right? Not getting lost in the scroll, not getting lost in the like not being able to spend your money wisely.
Binge watching stuff.
Like, you don't want to live your life. And this is another shameless plug for the Blueprints of Marriage, is like, I start out the book talking about your own funeral. Like, you need to number your days.
Yes. Time is a gift.
And it's the only thing you cannot get back. I'm telling you, and you might be struggling financially right now, but I promise you can make the money back.
Yep. You can. It happens.
God can instantly give you a witty idea, which he says in the Bible. He will give us witty ideas. In literally 6 months, your life could be totally different. A year, your life could be totally different.
Yep.
Right? That one stock flips, your life is totally different.
We have friends from Michigan that he had a dream for an invention. And he created that, took plenty of years to do it. Mm-hmm. And now they sell this worldwide.
It's wild.
They are thriving financially.
From a dream. Their life flipped upside down. And
they named it after, I guess after God, because it was a God-given dream. Mm-hmm. You know, they're followers of Jesus. And so